All right. Live. Piccolo. This is a cool little instrument. Very, very rarely do I play this one. Very rare, but it's cool. It is something, again, that if you learn the clarinet, you can transition over to this instrument here as well, the piccolo. And it's a pretty easy transition because almost all of the fingering is the same, and also what I like about these different instruments, like the flute and the piccolo and the saxophone, is it give you a fresh perspective on your ideas for the clarinet. Because when you're playing the clarinet feels limited, until you start playing these other instruments, and you're like, oh, I could do that on the clarinet, and then you get that unique sound and style that you want. That that is very, very cool. Very cool. Now, that also kind of helped me with all my covers and stuff when I be covering all these pop songs, because I really, really love the way the saxophone kind of maneuvers through these pop songs and really, really make them sound good. And so that's what I wanted to bring to the clarinet. Whenever you follow me, like with all my covers, I put all of those other covers over there to accommodate my flute players, my sax players, my piccolo players. And if you play guitar or whatever and you wanted to kind of do the solo parts, you can play along with the flute parts, because the flute part is concert C, which means the key of C. So it's pitched to the key of C, not like the clarinet, which is pitched to the key of B flat. So someone asked me what that meant. Um, why, when they was playing a C on a clarinet, it sounded wrong. It's because the clarinet, it's pitched to B flat, unless you have a clarinet that is pitched to A, or one like my other clarinet that is pitched to G. So when you're playing a C on a clarinet, you're actually playing whatever key that clarinet is pitched to. Most are B flat unless you get fancy, like I did in both a G clarinet, which is known mainly in, mostly played in like European countries and definitely in Turkey. Um, when I listen to Turkish clarinet players, they if you listen to them, they'll give you a whole nother perspective on the clarinet, because they play the clarinet like a saxophone player, and it it beautiful, beautiful, and it will change the way you look at the clarinet. And you could do all of that on your B flat clarinet. The only thing is the B flat clarinet is don't go as low as a G clarinet. That's the G clarinet is tuned 5 half steps lower than the lowest note on the B flat clarinet. That's why I love it, because it gets really, really in the trenches, down and dirty, very, very low. You know, on one of my lives, I guess I'll feature my G clarinet, but not on this one. This one here is mainly a quick live to just say hi and give you an opportunity to answer any questions if you have any. If you don't have any during the live, but you have some later, leave it in a comment and I will look for it and respond to it. I know everyone is not keen to leave a message in the comments. I mean, leave a message in the chat, but they will leave it in the comments. So, however, whichever works for you is fine with me. But today, I'm here just basically to remind you to always keep fresh reeds. If you're a clarinet player, keep fresh reeds. Always be able to adjust these reeds, because a lot of people and a lot of teachers don't teach you this. They don't teach you the importance of your reeds, and if your reed sound doesn't play good, a lot of times you don't even know why my clarinet does not sound good, what's really going on. And if you start adjusting your reeds using something as simple as a square piece of sandpaper, I cut it down like this to make it easy to handle when I'm handling my reeds. Make it very, very manageable. And when you're taking care of your reeds, note that this is not, this is a very, very thin piece of wood. Very, very thin. This is not, this is not a desk. So don't go sanding on it like it's a desk. Now I use 1200 grit to 1500 grit, whichever works for you. I kind of like the 1200 a little bit better. And the grit means how hard or how rough the surface of the sandpaper. This here has a very, very thin surface on it. It's very thin. It's not like the other sandpaper. So don't be using the regular, the 300 grit, any of those lower grits, because they're very, very, they're for like sanding down wood or sanding the edge of a guitar you're working on. This is very light, and you do it very lightly, very gently, just like this. You just go like boom, boom. I'm turning it backwards so you can get a good idea. I don't do too much, and I would make sure I catch these edges too, like the right here on the edge, sideways. But avoid this part here. It will break on you in a minute. So you have to be very, very conscious and aware of exactly what you're doing. When you sand it like this. Look, I'm on an angle here. I'm on an angle. Here we go. I'm on an angle, as you can see, an angle. And I sand it very lightly right here a couple of times, maybe like 5 times, maybe like a couple of times here. Then I'll check it. Now, you're gonna sand the top a little bit, not too much, until it plays. You're gonna when you blow into it, you do it and you check it. Put it on the instrument and blow, and then you'll be able to really, really hear what's going on and feel it, and all of a sudden that clarinet start opening up. And now sometimes nothing you do is going to make this reed play right, so then you just have to toss it if that's the case and get another one. I like 3.5, but if you are new to the clarinet, 2.5 is perfect. And if you super new, 2. But I don't really fool with the 1.5. I find them way too light. So 2, 2.5, 3. And then as you learn and get better at the instrument, if you want to go up to 3.5. I have 4s. I never use them. I just find it just too hard to blow on. It's just too hard to blow into the instrument. The clarinet just acts a fool. At least my clarinet does. It does not like foes. And I change out mouthpiece. I have several mouthpiece. I like Van Dorians. I have the Black Diamond. That's my main mouthpiece. And then I use the RC5 mouthpiece. I actually like that one too. And so I go from those two. I don't play on the ones that come with it. Although the actual one that came with my unit was pretty good, but it wasn't. Well, no, my clarinet didn't come with a mouthpiece. That's how fancy it is. It did not even come with a mouthpiece. So that's what made me step up my game on the mouthpiece. Was I had to literally buy a separate out a mouthpiece, but it did not come with a mouthpiece. My instrument is back on musical, and they sell mouthpiece. They wasn't selling mouthpiece at the time, so he didn't supply me with one, at the time. So I just went with the Van Doren, you know. But anyway, always take care of your reeds. This will change the game. Even if your clarinet is like considered one of those cheap plastic clarinets, which most beginners play and start with, and that's what you kind of should play with to make sure that this is your instrument. And you explore different instruments to give you an idea to see which one you truly like. You'd be you'd be surprised if you pick up a flute or a saxophone, and you might be like, "This is love. This is it. This is my joint. This is where I'm going with this. I am a saxophone player, and it's okay, but you still need to know how to work on this, unless you're gonna play the flute. You know, I like the clarinet because the clarinet for me is the master teacher. You learn the clarinet, you will not struggle with the saxophone or the flute, period. Because the clarinet gives you that lower octave that changes the way you just approach the instrument. Clarinet to me is the teacher of all the woodwinds for saxophone, flute, and well, if you play flute, you can play piccolo, because only thing you're dealing with is embouchure and breath control. Just remember, if you're playing the flute, always think of the word p, pa, 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 and you could blow directly into the hole of the flute. And you still have to work on the control of the air, because there's things you could do with any of these instruments that are so interesting and unique, and it can be directly something that you can learn on a clarinet that no one else has learned. All of these instruments are open and optional for being able to do just fantastic things. If you listen to the Turkish clarinet players, you would learn something that you never even thought of doing on a clarinet. Those guys are fantastic. Now, I'm saying Turkish, like Istanbul, Turkey. Those clarinet. Just look up an artist called Husnu Selenderica. That's with an S. Husnu Selenderica. And I can't think of the other guy named Kirby and a few other. Just look up Istanbul, Turkey clarinet players. They play the clarinet in the key of G, which is called a G clarinet. Check them guys out, and you will be amazed. You will be like, wow, this is crazy. This is fantastic. It will change. It's going to change you if you just check them out. And I have never heard clarinet players do the things they do. I always heard orchestra clarinet players. And although they're good, the orchestra doesn't really allow the clarinet player to shine, in my personal opinion, because they keep the clarinet player in the background, just kind of supporting every other instrument. And if a clarinet player wants to step to the front and shine, he normally has to play a part written for the violin or one of the other instruments, but mostly like the violin and the cello. Other than that, they just don't give the clarinet player a lot of shine in the orchestra. And the notes they have the clarinet player in, it is just, for me, it's a little boring. So that's why I went quite a while without even playing my clarinet. I never thought of until later on to actually just play play with the saxophone, play on the clarinet, play pop songs, and just have fun. Clarinet is to me is a super fun instrument if you know how to use it. It's a very very fun instrument. It is it's just it's fire. It's fire, you know. But you start listening to some of your favorite songs, whatever it is, and just try to play along with it. Just listen and let it guide you. You can listen to the singer, listen to whatever part you want, and just play it on the clarinet. Even if you don't have the sheet music in front of you or the music, start getting your hearing in tune with it, so that there is no music that you like you can't play. You can pick up your instrument and play along with any of them if you could just hear the music. You start hearing the notes. You start finding out that if you find the first note, the second note, you find out what scale it in. I'm gonna do a live on the circle of fit, because when I was coming up, a lot of people would tell you you don't really need to know theory. You don't need to know how to read music. And then now I realize it's stupid. If I had to learn 26 alphabets for the language, why I couldn't learn 7 alphabets? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all the notes in music, every single one. And the only variation is if it turns into a sharp or a flat, but it's still going to be a F sharp. There's no F flats unless you count E, because sharp or flat just means go up a half step or come down a half step from whatever note you are currently playing. So if you got, say, E flat, you have an E. If you go up a half step, it's E sharp. Oh, why I keep using the one? Hold on, let's back this up. Let's go straight in the middle. If you playing a G, there we go, better. If you're playing a G and you go up a half step, meaning I just want you to go up a half step. Then I'm gonna put a sharp symbol saying go up to G sharp. And if I want you to go down just a half step, I don't want you to go all the way down. I just want you to go down a half step. I'm gonna put a flat symbol, which tells you to go down to G flat. That's it. So circle of fifth will tell you what key you're in, which means that you can eliminate all the other notes, which means you can lessen any possible mistakes that you will make while playing the clarinet or any instrument for that matter. So keep that in mind, that theory you should know. And if you're young or if you're old, you should take a few moments and learn how to read and understand the music. For me, I mainly read the music because a lot of the music I play don't have music for it yet. It'd be like the brand new, the hottest new songs. So they don't really have sheet music for it. And also I want to kind of put my own twist on it and play it very, very close to how the singer, the rapper, or whoever it is actually playing it. So that's why I hear read most of the music that I actually play. But I do read music. I don't read it as good as I would like to, because a lot of the songs that I want to play, it's just not. I have to literally write the notes out. Write the notes out, and I don't put sheet music on my page because uh, they will copyright strike you now, because they sell sheet music. So I can't put sheet music on my page without risking losing the whole channel. So I was put in the notes, which was pretty, got me by, and also gave me the opportunity to give you something to follow with me. You just have to know the song if you got the alphabet notes, like the GGAGCB. It's the start of Happy Birthday song. So, I just do it like that instead of actually writing out the sheet music. You know, the Happy Birthday song, I think I would be all right with that one if I did the sheet music, but I didn't see a need to. So most people just know the song and the notes work really, really good. And a lot of people actually appreciate just having the alphabet so that they don't have to stress with trying to remember how to read notes. For me, it's not mandatory. It's just nice to know, and it doesn't take really that much time out of your schedule to really focus and practice on learning how to read music. It expands your ideas, and but that circle of fifth for me is a must. No, you should know the circle of fifth. Because it would make understanding the music so much easier, so much easier. So, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. For those who is not in the chat, and I'll definitely answer your questions. Rudeway. I see I have someone watching. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. This one here was just a quick chat to kind of go over some clarinet, some different musical ideas, and that's it. It's question and answers. I don't have any questions right at this time, so I will sign out. And also, I'm going to be putting up a couple of videos in regards to some of the things I discuss. I put up designated videos so that you can also go back if you into any of these particular instruments. You can go back and look at, and it'll be all good. Okay, well, your boy